Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Links with Friends. Today is July 23rd, and we're here with business and social stories for your hump day.
Well, let's start with a little follow-up because we talked about this last week, and there has been an unfortunate update.
Intel layoffs exceed 5,000 across the U.S. This is not an old report. This is another new layer of reports. It was last updated July 16th.
Even more.
They moved from like 200 to 700 in Arizona, I think it was. So there were quite a bit more layoffs in Arizona, and Arizona's not even up and running yet.
There was Oregon last week. They've added California and Arizona.
Yeah.
Not going well for Intel.
Yeah, I don't know what that's worrying.
And the CHIPS Act is no more, and this is our first major casualty from that.
Michigan loses massive semiconductor plant. Whitmer blames national economic turmoil. SanDisk all but said, hey, you pulled the CHIPS Act money. What did you expect?
So they're talking about now they actually bought these homes, I think. And some people were very upset about this. They're like, I don't want to sell you my property. And so now it's like, what are we going to do with this? And no one knows. She's basically saying, please, if you need a giant campus, please.
Yeah,
People turned away from their homes and now.
I thought the article said they had already spent north of $200 million clearing it, or like buying the stuff and clearing it. So it's like some of the work clearing stuff has already happened.
It's unfortunate.
Worrying.
And
but also like the bottom line, isn't it the whole like manufacturing is supposed to come back to the US, right? So this is the perfect site for manufacturing stuff, right? Unless manufacturing's not coming back to the US and we're just going to endure higher prices.
We're just going to endure higher prices and also, bulldoze people's homes and whatever, because it doesn't matter anymore. All the money goes to AI.
I think manufacturing is going to come back to the U.S. when people are no longer needed. That's the key, because they're expensive.
That may be coming sooner than we all think.
And if you're going to run all the AI and everything, you're going to need all the storage. I mean, listen, if every aspect of human behavior is going to be surveilled, where do we store it all? And Seagate says they have the answer.
Seagate's massive 30 terabyte, $600 hard drive are now available for anyone to buy. Now, this is cool because you can buy a 30 terabyte hard drive and it works normally and all. This is really good. But they already have 40 terabyte drives. Like they're behind closed doors. You can buy a 40 terabyte hard drive, but you like for that data density, you need software it's special. So like if you're Amazon, you can already buy a 40 terabyte hard drive. But now 30 terabyte consumer hard drives.
And Mr. Jensen went to Washington, and he dazzled Donald Trump with the shininess of his leather. Mm. And Trump was just bewitched and immediately reversed course, as he so often does.
Chinese firms rush for Nvidia chips as U.S. prepares to lift a ban. And they're going to also release the, the 5090D squared edition. So it's another version of the 5090D that has been tweaked further for the Chinese market.
And the H20.
Yeah. Also, the RTX 6000 has a bugged BIOS. The first 600 that they shipped are don't have a usable BIOS for the RTX 6000, and they're acting like we're gonna have to mail them in to get it fixed, which is just we'll see.
Because you are not their customer anymore.
Yeah. No,
you are just an afterthought.
That is right. Yeah. Literally, is this an $9,000 card? And they're like, yeah, we don't care.
That's chump change.
Yeah.
And as hostile as that is for your customer base, it doesn't even hold a candle to this.
Nintendo Switch 2 account bans continue. Snazzy Labs. I helped him set up his NAS way back in the day. Issues a warning after buying an old copy of Bayo 3 on eBay. So Nintendo serializes these, and so when you rip your cartridge to use, as one does, which should be okay under the first sale doctrine, they keep track of the serial number. And so if the serial number pops up in more than one place, Nintendo bans them both. And so he had the original cartridge from eBay and was just trying to play it on a Switch 2. There's no cartridge involved, and he was banned. Although Tom's Hardware dug up old tweets from Quinn that were like, I'm totally playing on a flash cartridge. That was a different time and context.
But it shouldn't matter.
You know what will never, ever do that to me? My installation of Linux on my Steam Deck, where I'm enjoying games that are fine and that I've paid money for. But I am 100% certain that no outside entity will ever reach into my switch and do bad things because they've altered the deal. Pray they don't alter it any further.
You don't know that because they could just, I mean, there could be a future like in Italy where they just show up to your house.
And take your hardware.
Short of
Throw
showing
you
up
in
to my
prison.
house, they're not going to
Yeah.
be able to do that electronically.
And the AI is ravenous. It needs unlimited power and unlimited compute. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're basically just going to build cities for the robots.
First AI data center, data supercluster going online in 2026, as Zuckerberg says. This is the one in Louisiana, right? They've got a super site.
Where it's nice and cool and dry.
They could literally do swamp cooling.
Except it doesn't work in humid.
Yeah.
But that's how they do it. It's evaporative cooling is how they cool those things. So that is how they'll be doing it. It'll be a more controlled environment, though. So, yeah, that's... I don't think it's going to be fully operational. It's going to be like the Death Star. There's going to be stages to it. But the first stage will be ready in 26.
I know of 2 places that are being constructed right now, like data center stuff. And they literally are moving in the GPU clusters before the buildings are even done. So, like, you go, it's like, oh, let's open the door to go into the next pod. And you open it up, and it's just the outside. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, they're still constructing this part of the data center. We're just putting the computers in this part because this is the first part that was done. So it's kind of wild to be deploying supercluster in a building that's not even done being built yet. I mean, it literally is like in Star Wars where, the second Death Star, and it's like, oh, we got the second Death Star. And it's like, oh, that's not believable. And it's like, well, as it turns out. That's
hilarious because, it's like a construction worker sitting on a spackle bucket eating a PB&J next to $60 million.
Yeah, that is exactly how it is.
Putting his Coke on top of it.
Yeah.
Well, Apple made a terrible, terrible error. They built a VR helmet and everyone hates it. It was just a tragedy. But that's not going to stop other companies to keep trying.
TikTok owner ByteDance is reportedly building its own mixed reality goggles.
They are going
Lightweight, it says. Look at that.
They're moving the processing off of the actual unit and putting it in your pocket, wired, so you will have an ugly wire. But they say that that's going to make the difference. This was a half a pound or a quarter pound or something like that, right?
It's ultralight.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
I am sort of surprised it's taken. Eventually, you guys think that we're going to get to a point where we don't really have as many large displays as we do now anymore? Like you just put on your glasses and then you've got your floating 50-inch screens anywhere you want?
I personally wouldn't want that because I feel like I have enough eye strain problems as it is, and I don't want something that close to my eyes all day.
Well, it'll seem like it's way out there. It could actually be better for eye strain.
Maybe.
Eventually, it'll be the Neuralink.
Yeah.
You just can't escape the ads.
And we have a new novel approach to data storage, which is actually going to be able to just sit inside the footprint of a classic, which actually might make it viable.
Holographic ribbon set to challenge magnetic tape with a 50-year longevity and 200 terabyte cartridges. So this is physical drop-in replacement for LTO, which is exciting. 200 terabyte capacity, also exciting, at least if we can get this on the market in the next couple of years. However, this article doesn't mention how quickly they're able to do it. There's only one tantalizing hint, which is, we can write thousands of bits per second. And it's like, you're going to need to be able to write probably like tens of millions minimum per second. Maybe like 500 million per second would even be more desirable, not tens of thousands.
And we are advancing so quickly that we are ignoring two critical bottlenecks, one of which is power, which we're all familiar with. The other one is water, which we all need to survive. But don't worry about that. Just keep going.
CoreWeave data center to double city's power needs as AI strains its supply of power and also water. The article goes on to talk about, it's like, it's going to take a lot of water too.
So this is Dallas, right? Outside of Dallas.
The ERCOT power grid. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. It's going to double the requirements. A lot of these companies are building their own. I believe these guys are bringing in their own turbines. But I'm sure it's going to have an undesired effect. on these sleepy little towns.
Well, then, you have the AI managing your rolling blackouts.
Right.
Do you think it'll never
right.
cut off power to itself?
Yeah, right. Oh, AI, what should we do? Should we turn you off, or should we let Grandma have a heat stroke? Cut to the heart of the matter on that. And we have, moving to software, of course, this is going to be the story from now on.
Laid off King staff set to be replaced by AI tools they helped build, say sources. So this is the Candy Crush maker and a bunch of other mobile games. It turns out that they're so formulaic, you can just have AI make them.
It's hard to feel sorry for the Candy Crush people, but let's remember, this is going to happen to everybody. And even if you are working for the AI companies, remember that you are still eventually going to be expendable.
Scale AI lays off 200 employees. We ramped up our GenAI capacity too quickly. That's sort of weird in the juxtaposed on the background of Meta hiring AI engineers to the tune of like, here's your $10 million signing bonus and $100 million of total compensation if you stick with us over the next 10 years and you get us to the number one in AI.
And these will be a little bit out of order because in the AI section, we'll talk about Andy Jassy and his ominous speech that he gave to the
dark.
Amazon people, which resulted almost immediately in this.
Laid off AWS employee describes the cuts as cold and soulless.
I would expect nothing less from people without souls.
So yeah, he basically told them, "Hey guys, we're all in on AI, and some of you aren't going to make it." And then very quickly, without any warning, the AWS team got some I just completely blanked out there. Unpleasant emails. That's the word I was searching for.
We also have a story coming about Sam Altman going with Google to scale, and also a picture of his tweet that's like, does anybody have like 100,000 GPUs laying around not doing anything? Like, we're ready to sign a contract now if you have 100,000 GPUs that are not doing anything. And that was from OpenAI for scaling and everything else. And so it really feels like Amazon missed the boat if they're having to lay off those engineers.
And WeTransfer has, they did one of those things where they just very carefully changed the terms of service a little bit, and people are on the lookout for it now. They immediately caught it.
WeTransfer says user content will now not be used to train AI after the backlash. It's like, let's just quietly slip in a change to, if you WeTransfer stuff, we're going to look at this and monetize it. And people did not like that. I've got news for you. It's probably going to be monetized anyway.
Yeah.
It's probably already been monetized. But
somewhere along the chain.
At least it's taken out of the user agreement.
I mean, don't stop fighting.
Yeah.
Like, don't just accept it, but I don't know how much you're going to get away from it. And if you say, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice all the convenience, I'm going to go to insane trouble, and I'm just going to try to avoid the tech companies spying on everything that I do, well, that's going to make you stand out. And as the Chinese say, the nail that sticks out, it gets the hammer.
Cops say criminals use Google Pixel with GrapheneOS. And Android authorities say that's freedom. Yeah, it should be. But now the cops in Spain are profiling Android phones that use this OS because it can be detected at the tower.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is something that's a pretty regular theme, is trying to avoid surveillance makes you the immediate target of surveillance.
This is also, like, you have open source and software projects, so like Graphene, I don't know anything about any of the developers or anything with it, but for the project, it seems like law enforcement or intelligence services would then infiltrate your project. I'm sure this is a problem like Signal faces. It's like, we need a lot of really amazing developers working on the cryptography in Signal. And then somebody shows up and it's like, yes, individual freedom, we must protect against surveillance. But it turns out that, some of those people are actually working for the surveillance industry or, nation states. It's very, very hard to defend against that kind of corruption.
And it's very, very hard to defend against VMware because they literally change the terms of service every 10 minutes.
VMware reboots its partner program again, and it looks like smaller players are out. Yes, they fired all of the smaller partners, and you have to bring them, a couple $1 million a year of revenue minimum to even be worth talking to. Pretty sure everybody is abandoning VMware as quickly as they can, large and small.
You have until October, just like Windows, and then you're done. find somebody new.
We got so many amazing alternatives now. Proxmox, XCP-ng. Nutanix has got a viable VMware competitor, which is insane in a good way.
And first of all, don't fall for the extended warranty. And also don't fall for the lifetime subscription. Because whose lifetime are they talking about? Not yours.
BulletVPN shuts down, killing lifetime members' subscriptions. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of the VPN companies out there are white labels for other people that provide the infrastructure. And in this case, BulletVPN went upside down. They weren't getting enough new subscribers to maintain their subscriber base. And there's no actual VPN provider that offers lifetime subscription. It's just the resellers. So it is a little bit of a Ponzi scheme, in my opinion.
And they will give you 6 months with another service. But 6 months is a lot different than a lifetime.
Yeah. Also, downloading, multi-terabyte AI models over a VPN is not pleasant.
And one of the biggest problems we have right now is debanking. And that maybe toned down a little bit. It was a real big problem there, like during COVID. But it seems like it's coming back. And one of the last bastions of freedom in the software world has fallen to it.
Steam now bans games that violate rules and standards of their payment processors and their banks.
Right now, it's only the most insane stuff, mostly to do with, words that we won't say, but, oh no,
You clicked it! You've clicked
oh
it!
What
no.
have you done?
Wow. An X or Twitter embed won't let you highlight. It counts that as a click.
Anything to get that engagement. They need that for their
Yeah.
analytics.
It's going to juice their analytics dashboard. That's amazing.
It is true that a lot of Steam games are the adult variety these days. Those seem really popular. But you can hide those pretty easily.
This is
I
also...
don't see recommendations for those very often.
Think about all the stories we've covered, though, where people have been debanked. Like people that were trying to support, it's like Julian Assange, let's try to give him money. It's like, no, we're going to remove his ability to receive money. And it's like, bah, that's weird. The payment processors want to get involved in that. That seems like the electricity providers having a say in what you use the electricity for.
And plus, they're willing to threaten imagine the income stream that Steam is.
Yeah.
That's something. They like that control. And one thing that I hate is paywalls, because my God, putting these stories together and trying to find paywall alternatives is such a pain, and it just got worse.
News publishers take paywall-blocker 12foot.io offline. No.
So the only thing this service did was change the user agent to a crawler, and because they don't, they're not willing to keep Google out, they'd let you look at it. So you could probably reproduce this on your own. But if you were to reproduce it and you're like, oh, let me make a browser plugin or whatever, this is going to happen to you.
Yeah, Google will block that, actually, because people complain. Well, publishers complain about that.
Not people.
Yeah. Now,
Companies.
Well, here's a really interesting thing, too. This is another one of those side tangent conversations. You know how we've covered the story about Cloudflare automatically blocking AI scrapers, and how, like, the Linux kernel mailing list, if you have a question about a patch that was submitted to the Linux kernel mailing list, you used to be able to ask Claude, like, here's the link to the patch. I have some questions. Now you actually have to paste the contents of it because they have the... Oops, sorry, I hit the microphone. Because they have the scraper blocker thing. We have tools for doing, like, the browser plugin thing that we're going to talk about. And so all of that traffic is going to come from your computer now instead of the thing. So imagine a future where you've got all the AI tools and, like, one person is now, superhuman productive. They're hitting all these resources online and doing all this other stuff. That seems like it's just going to be the same problem. It seems like it's just a delay. It's like hosting the website is now 10 times more expensive because of all the AI scrapers and crawlers. And it's like all the AI scrapers and crawlers are still going to be there. It's just that they're going to be now on your client's computers. And so, like, your client's browsers are going to be more aggressive versus, doing it in a central kind of a way.
Moving on to social media, we have a first in the social media world. This has never happened before, and it happened because people are very, very unhappy about a specific topic.
Trump gets ratioed on Truth Social for the first time amid the Epstein backlash. Yeah, it's weird. That was one of the drain the swamp. Oh my God, look at all the corruption. It's weird. It's really
They
weird.
need to release the files, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the backlog of evidence that all these people just 180 at the same time is overwhelming. It's just something else. We've always had that in government. It's not something new. But the coordinated level of this is just shocking. And a lot of people have the cognitive dissonance and they're willing and able to just sort of mentally paper over things. But this seems like it went too far.
It broke the illusion. It was, yeah. There's no way you can defend that, right?
My favorite thing to come out of this was I think it was a post on Twitter. This one was good too, but the other one was a post on Twitter that was like, oh, I talked to Rupert Murdoch and he said they were going to pull that story. And it's like, if you read that and you think about the meta of what is said there, it's like, wait a minute, I'm not living in a free society.
Yeah, and
Never has been.
But think about all the times that Rupert Murdoch did pull the story.
Yeah,
because that's.
This
clearly.
is like how do we expect our citizenry to be informed? We're gonna you'd literally have to go full tilt crazy person to embrace the thing to try to, and then it's just like, I just want to have an informed democracy, please, for the love of God, can we have an informed? Just like, how do we use technology to get there?
If you're informed, you'd be upset about all the terrible things that they do.
Well,
like this.
One man, or I guess, is he a monster?
Elmo? He's less of a monster than this guy.
That's the irony, right?
Elmo exists solely to protect the children, which is ironic.
By being a monster himself, he's able to point out the darkness.
Elmo's X account was hacked to post anti-Semitic hate and called Trump, yeah.
A terrible thing.
But it was just like, release the files.
And nobody was really angry about that. It's like,
well, they weren't angry about the Trump is but they were angry about the anti-Semitic thing.
Oh, well, that's manufactured. I mean, even though children had to see it, I didn't hear a lot of people being like, "Oh, get this off of there," and it was like, "Yeah, Elmo's right."
Elmo's mad because they're pulling the PBS funding.
And Meta has also decided that they need to do something about all these fake accounts, which is hilarious because they are simultaneously building the infrastructure for infinite fake accounts.
Meta removes 10 million Facebook profiles in an effort to combat spam.
That seems like a very low number, don't you think?
Yeah, considering how many there actually are.
Almost
What if mine had been removed?
a drop in the bucket. And if you recall, when the whole Cambridge Analytica stuff and then the AI training nonsense and everything, the shareholders were like, "Hey, you're hurting our value." And there's been an update to this, which was not in this article.
Meta shareholders versus Mark Zuckerberg in an $8 billion lawsuit. So they've settled at this point?
With no fault. Nobody knows what the number was, but he gave up probably a considerable sum to make this go away.
It's also interesting how the argument has changed. Like, the whole Cambridge Analytica thing was the deep analytics and building the thing, but we literally have done stories since Cambridge Analytica broke about how law enforcement and medical billing companies and Flock and dozens of commercial companies are building and exploiting exactly the same thing.
And in fact, Facebook itself is that thing. And they are somewhat controlled in the way that they're allowed to do that because people have, over the years, sued them over and over and over. But now they're making the argument that we have to do it. There is no other option.
Meta argues its AI needs personal information from social media posts to learn Australian concepts, quote unquote.
What, like giant spiders? I don't
think the Australian people's they're basically a Western society like we are.
Yeah.
It's mostly the same. I'm not sure why.
There's some different slang, but
yeah. So, but they say no. The only way that we can serve you, this is kind of like the targeted ad thing, right? The argument is no. To serve you better, we must look at everything that you do.
That's like the restaurant.
Except
if you want your personalized penguin certificate, you have to give us your social.
But there you get like a magical tailored experience. Here you just get the same Facebook you always got.
And it's mostly just ads that are kind of not really tailored to you.
It's learning to speak Australian. Kill it with fire.
And guess what? Reddit's got a new partner. Guess who they are?
Reddit's UK users must now prove they're 18 to view adult content. You got to upload a selfie.
To Persona. Persona is the big winner this week. They got all the contracts.
What could possibly go
I
wrong?
need to look them up and like see who's behind them because it's probably
Mossad. I don't know. I'm just.
Well, let's make a prediction. It's got to be measured in months, right? How many months until the first big Persona data breach? I'm saying 6.
Chat.
You think 6?
I think 6,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go really aggressive and say 3.
That's this week's engagement challenge, Chad. How many weeks do you think before there's a major breach?
Oh, so we were saying months, but weeks also.
I love how too. It's like, oh, we don't even save the photos. There's a lot of classic security breaches from the credit card processor. Authorize.net, for example. One of their methods of dealing with credit cards is a JavaScript embed. But if you can hack or compromise any CDN that's loading JavaScript on that web page, then JavaScript can surreptitiously save the credit card numbers. And so you get a compromise that way.
But they're saying Reddit won't store it. Persona will store it.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, for sure.
But even if they both say that they don't store it, all of the other scripts on that page have the opportunity to store it surreptitiously. So if you can't secure credit card numbers, you're not going to be able to secure selfies. Come on.
Or government IDs, which is probably what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Now, see also, or your insurance policy number. It's like, oh yeah, here's the name and the policy number.
Your medical imaging?
Yeah, it's just what a tragedy.
Grim. On that note, join us on Friday for some more grim news and also a little bit of nonsense. Bye.